Afternoon, everyone. It's a first alert weather day, and our team is tracking dangerous heat and a number of severe storms. Summer, what are we looking at?
We are dealing with another very hot day, and now a cold front is starting to slice through this hot and humid air, leading to severe thunderstorm development. And we've already got a couple on the radar. Let's take a look here at this storm right in west central Minnesota. We've currently got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's start with this one right here. This is radar indicated large hail up to 1.5 inches in diameter and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for parts of Norman, Polk, and Trail counties until 4:15. So about another 15 minutes to go on that. But then it will be replaced by this one. And you can see it's kind of flashing white. It's for a considerable hail and wind threat. We could see hail up to 2 inches in diameter and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This warning goes until 5 o'clock. For parts of Pennington, Polk, Red Lake counties. So if you're within this warned area near Fertile, Red Lake Falls, Crookston, even all the way up into Thief River, this storm will be heading your way. Check out the hail signature. I'm going to step off so we can get an estimate of how large this hail might be estimated by radar. This is right near the Beltrami area. Get a query there right in the center. Radar is estimating hail up to 3 inches in diameter. So if you're seeing hail in this region, once the storm passes, if you could submit a picture, we'd love some of that information and to be able to pass it along to the National Weather Service as well. But here's that hail track as it moves to the north and east. The main core of the hail track will pass right through Crookston and Fertile and eventually out towards the Oakley area if it's able to hold together. And we're just starting with the severe weather threat for tonight. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 10 p.m. for the Central Valley in northwestern Minnesota. James River Valley, this goes until 11 p.m. because we're going to have 2 different rounds of severe weather. Here's what we're looking at, a big swath of a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe. So Stacey, we've got a lot to talk about. Stick around. I'll walk through your hour-by-hour forecast and look at what we're in for the rest of this evening.
All right. Thanks so much, Summer. New for you at 4, a 37-year-old woman had to be flown to the hospital after getting her legs crushed between a boat and a dock. That happened Friday afternoon on Gull Lake. Deputies learned a pontoon was trying to dock when a mechanical issue caused it to accelerate instead. They say the woman tried to stop the boat from hitting the dock by putting down her legs and putting her feet out. Her feet then slid under the front of the pontoon, causing her legs to be pinched between the dock and the boat. She was flown to the Twin Cities for treatment. One woman is behind bars after a float down the Mississippi River turned violent in northern Minnesota last night. Officials with the Beltrami County Sheriff's Office say 2 groups of 25 people were tubing down the river when a fight broke out. During the brawl, officials say 20-year-old Aaliyah Goodman stabbed 21-year-old Raquel Cornozos in the arm. She was taken to the hospital for treatment. Goodman was arrested and booked into the Beltrami County Jail for second-degree assault and minor in consumption. A Pelican Rapids man has died after jumping into Lake Lida this weekend to try and save his dog. The Otter Tail County Sheriff's Office says 48-year-old Eric Fife was boating with friends when he jumped off the boat. Fife appeared to be struggling to stay above water. Deputies say a friend pulled him and his dog out of the water and began CPR until first responders could get there, but Fife died at the scene. Investigators are now saying a fire in one of North Dakota's oldest churches is suspicious. That fire was reported Friday after a passerby saw smoke coming out of Maple Cheyenne Lutheran Church near Harwood. West Fargo's rural fire chief says a propane tank was found outside the building. Cass County Sheriff Jesse Johnner says the initial investigation is showing some things that are suspicious. State and federal agents have now joined the investigation, including the ATF. Anyone in the valley that tried to travel this weekend knows firsthand it was a frustrating situation for flyers across America trying to go on vacation. Thousands of passengers were stranded in part because of staffing issues for airlines in the air and on the ground. Elise Preston reports from New Jersey's Newark Airport.
Understaffed airports and airlines are being slammed, and it's taking a toll on travelers.
At this point, I don't have any high hopes.
We're talking 10 hours.
More than 900 flights were canceled on Sunday alone. Delta getting hit the hardest with more than 200 cancellations. Delta apologized, saying in a statement a variety of factors continue to impact our operations, including challenges with air traffic control, weather, and unscheduled absences. Canceling a flight is always our last resort. Since the start of June, U.S. airports have seen an average of 2.2 million flyers every day.
They didn't tell them why it was canceled, but they canceled everybody's flight.
The industry has been struggling, receiving tens of billions in federal aid since the start of the pandemic. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg met with airline executives right before the weekend, telling them to stick to their flight schedules and to hire more customer service agents, giving them until the 4th of July weekend to do better or face potential fines. CBS News senior travel advisor Peter Greenberg.
You can hire as many customer service agents as you want to say, I'm sorry, but if you don't fix the root problems, the apologies will continue. You got to be able to find pilots. There's a shortage. You have to be able to find people who work under the wing, ground handlers, baggage loaders. Until staffing increases as a whole, Greenberg expects more disruptions through September.
After that meeting with airline executives, Secretary Buttigieg had his own flight canceled and had to drive from Washington, D.C. to New York. Some tips to keep in mind for your own air travel: try to book the first flight out and arrive at least 3 hours early. Elise Preston, CBS News, Newark International Airport.
And in other travel news, President Biden said today he's considering a federal holiday on the gas tax, possibly saving Americans as much as 18.4 cents a gallon. The president says he plans to issue a decision by the end of this week. His administration is increasingly looking for ways to spare Americans from higher prices at the pump, which began to climb last year. The administration has already released oil from the U.S. Strategic Reserve and increased ethanol blending for the summer. The president also sent a letter last week to oil refiners urging them to increase their refining capacity. However, prices remain historically high. Right now in North Dakota, the average is $4.76. In Minnesota, prices a bit lower at $4.74. Gas prices in the Fargo-Moorhead area sit between $4.39, that's at Sam's Club, and $4.70. With the sun on full display, a company in California's Silicon Valley believes the future of solar energy is clear. The next generation of solar panels may not be something you have to add to the roof. John Remus explains.
At the headquarters of Ubiquitous Energy near San Francisco, the familiar black solar panels on the roof are pretty obvious. But the lights in the company conference room are being powered by the windows, which are also acting as solar collectors.
And so that's kind of the problem we sought out to solve with our technology, is how can you make a solar technology that's completely invisible, and by making it invisible, now we can apply it to many more surfaces.
Co-founder Miles Barr says his company has invented an invisible coating using photosensitive dyes that capture energy from only the non-visible infrared and ultraviolet spectrums, turning windows into see-through solar panels.
So you can use the full surface, the full vertical surface of a glass skyscraper to generate electricity that can be used by the building.
Other companies are working on similar technology. Next Energy just released a prototype window with a transparent coating that can harness solar energy. Ubiquitous already has its windows on several buildings, and the company is now gearing up for full-scale production in 2024.
We're talking about you're buying a window, and now do you want to pay a little bit more so that your window produces electricity as well?
Ubiquitous CEO Susan Stone says there may be more uses down the road. Theoretically, the same coating could be applied to any hard or painted surface, allowing electronic devices and even parked cars to charge themselves.
If builders start using the windows, the energy possibilities could be staggering.
Every year, more than 20 billion square feet of window glass is installed around the world, enough to circle the Earth 100 times.
John Remus, CBS News, San Francisco.
The Carson Wentz AO1 Foundation is hosting its third annual charity softball game at Newman Outdoor Field in Fargo tomorrow, and you can watch it right here on Valley News Live. The event will feature Carson Wentz and other former NDSU football players competing in a home run derby and 9-inning game. Valley News Team Sports Director Devin Fry is calling the game and interviewing players all throughout the night. You can watch it right here on KX4 starting at 7 p.m. tomorrow. If you have a ticket, here's what you need to know. Stadium gates open at 6. The home run derby will begin at 7 and the game starts at 8. On Monument